about now? And then I also have some cute pictures because I used the extra funds that were left over and bought hats of funny faces and stuff for all the choir and high school band.
That was cool.
And so they all had those on.
They were good. They enjoy that? Good. I think Carl's coming.
Okay, we are recording. We have a quorum. Kyle is the only one have not heard from. Kind of seeing if she,
Yeah, I'm checking my text too, yeah. Should we start?
yeah, and
She comes in, I'll turn.
run and open the door.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead and start.
Okay. So it's 5:45. Chair Reese Adams.
Here.
Vice Chair Mark Gilmore.
Here.
Kyle Conrad is not present. Amy Fox. Here. Leah Moran.
Here.
Julie Parker.
Here.
Stacy Potish.
Here.
Alternate member Monica Alvarez is not present. We have Englewood Public School Liaison Emily Ancona here. Excused, we have Council Member Chelsea Noonenkamp. Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill. Library and Cultural Arts Manager Bethany Lafferty. And Event Supervisor Tony Arnold.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and go through the approval of the minutes from last meeting. Which, yeah. A long one. Don't have those, so I can't approve or not. Are they not in your packet?
Oh,
Oh.
you know, I had printed off the packet that has the revised agenda.
Oh,
So. Rather than printing the whole.
once everybody has an opportunity to look at it, if I could get a motion to approve.
I move to approve the minutes from the November 2nd meeting.
Thank you, Leah. A second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Okey-dokey. No public comment tonight, so we'll move into new business, which is murals.
Yeah, murals.
Oh, Kyle's having a hard time logging in, so she emailed you. Oh, yeah, that's okay. She says she's not feeling well, so if it's, we're fine. We're good. We'll move forward.
So I keep getting requests for murals and
Same.
yeah, in different locations. So I have 4 locations that's in need of a mural, and some of them have funding and some would need funding from this group. So at Maui Recreation Center, they have a staff parking lot that has a nice big wall and it gets tagged often. And so they're requesting possibly a nice mural there to reflect the area. We've got some senior living in there, something that's bright and pretty. They don't have any funding for it, but if we find a muralist, definitely want to keep them on the list as a location. The recreation center, on the inside, we're going to be renovating the lobby area and they're wanting a mural as well. We have SCFD funds to do a mural at that location. And so depending on the cost, we don't have.
What's CFD?
Scientific and cultural.
Facilities.
Facilities district.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
Everybody. So we get grant funding annually, and I believe this year we got 23,000 or 25,000. It is used for programming throughout the year, but they can
Okay.
set probably a couple thousand. We'll have to look at it and see what muralists charge, and I'm not sure how big of a mural they want there, but we do have some funding for that location. The other one is our skate park. We have a new half pipe we put in, and it is getting tagged to the nines, and not good tagging either. I mean, if it was cool art, I'd be like, keep going. But it's just like people's, signature type tagging that's going on.
Would that be then funded by parks?
Yeah, we can do it out of parks for that one.
Okay.
It's not a huge space, so I don't think it would be super
Where is-
expensive.
Where is it on, where is it?
Cushing Park is.
Yeah, but where by the skate park is it?
So the half pipe.
Yeah.
Is that big?
Yeah.
One, it would be on the parking lot side is where it keeps getting tagged, and that's got the biggest wall to paint. So that's the other one. And then the last one is Santa Fe and Dartmouth. We've talked about that for a while, of
Yeah.
doing something kind of on that northeast corner. We just redid the landscaping last year, so it's tiered and more native type landscaping. So something super colorful. Welcome to Englewood is the thought for that, since it's the entry point into our city. So those are the 4. If you have more, we can continue to add.
Yeah, so this is, and I will speak for Kyle on this too, but between Kyle and myself, we have had several requests for murals. And with the biggest being on the backside of where Felt is, across from the distillery, across from Devil's Head, it's a huge wall.
Okay.
But like the Malley Center, like when we actually met with the new director of the chamber, Lindsay, and we were just like kind of spitballing a little bit, but when I started looking at some of the Denver murals of the same size, so similar to Malley and what that wall would be, I mean, we're talking like $20,000
Yeah.
plus. So, but it kind of got my juices flowing, because we've had so much interest in mural work that I want to just like throw out the idea of potentially doing either like maybe like an earmark for murals, or some sort of mural grant that people can apply for that is totally separate from everything else. So separate application process, separate funds allocated. We can, and I don't know what that looks like yet, but and maybe it's something we revisit after the first of the year, but like Loveland, for example, that took, I want to say it's this year, not 2023. I think it's 2022. They earmarked like, I don't know, $25,000 or something. And it was like, it's a whole year-long project. You can apply for it. And when the funds are gone, they're gone. But it was like a dedicated project devoted to mural work. And so I don't know if anybody has any thoughts along those lines, or if anybody has seen anything in other some municipalities, like Denver will have like a big contest, mural contest, and we were kind of thinking like that would be an interesting thing for us to do as well, if we were to provide, if we were to kind of set aside some funds as do like a citywide thing. But yeah, there's a lot of interest, so I think it needs its own, well, a couple of things. I think it needs its own funding, its own like project, and I think the other thing we need to do that we've been asked for a lot, that we don't have a lot of muralists on our artist list. And so I think if we could do some sort of social media around that, because I don't even have like people to, like, I don't have enough names to send folks to that are in the area. So if we could maybe beef up that list a little bit, that would be good too.
Maybe that's something like we talked with Darren last month about the art district, and he had suggested an arts community. Maybe there's a way that we can sort of use this to forge like that arts community, maybe through partnership with the downtown development and other groups that could all contribute to a mural type fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if DDA would be interested in that.
Possibly, and they have a little bit more funding than we
Yeah.
do as this committee.
Because I don't, we have a budget for art stuff, and murals are cool because they don't require as much upkeep as other things. But at the same time, like,
Yeah, they're
we're sort of
expensive.
limited on if they're gonna be that expensive, on
Yeah.
how many of those can be due
Yeah.
per year. But if we had a partnership with other organizations.
Is there a way we can, like, what's the best way to forge that relationship with the DDA to ask them if that's something?
I can do an intro.
Okay.
For us.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
can
good.
reach out to Hillary and
Yeah.
just let her know kind of what we're thinking. They might be thinking along the same lines because we're trying to
Right.
beautify the downtown area, so.
Well, and a lot of
Yeah,
the,
would
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, a lot of the requests I have are in the DDA, not outside the DDA. And
Right.
so if they're in the DDA, it'd be a little bit more of a unified.
And I mean, maybe there, like, there are places where it might make sense to talk to the chamber and places where it might make sense to talk to other organizations.
I was gonna ask if we have a contact like in Denver, like who worked on the Rhino project, with all of that.
I've had
and
some
see-
turnover.
Yeah, cause it'd be nice to got some ideas from them and how they got the money to do that and.
Well, Denver's comes from their 1% fund as well.
They have 630,000
Yeah. Their,
people.
their fund is a little
They're
bit.
they're a little, they're a
larger.
little higher than we
They're
are.
more money than we do.
They still had to organize that whole
Yeah.
thing though, and I'd just be curious to know who,
Yeah.
how they put that together.
Would that be something you would be interested in?
I can see what I can find out.
Okay.
Yeah, see if I can find some contacts for us that can at least give us some guidelines.
Yeah, I think that would be good. And municipalities have done it differently. I mean, Denver does it differently than Rhino. And so,
Stacy, I might have some names for you too.
Okay.
I'll email you.
We should all set out to find one muralist.
One.
One muralist each.
all right, well, I mean, I think like, let's start with we can do a little bit of research work. And then everybody can kind of think about what that might mean, like as far as earmarking funds, and then talk to the DDA and.
So I was gonna say, I've been meeting with the DDA also because they're a huge partner with events and stuff. And they actually, at the last meeting, mentioned wanting to come and talk to cultural arts. So it will be an easy-
Perfect.
I'll still email, but.
Perfect.
Yeah,
It'll be
it
a
will be
topic.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's things I want to talk to you all about too. So
Okay.
it'll be a great, maybe you can trade out some stuff. I don't even remember what
Yeah.
you wanted.
Well, I
But
mean, it doesn't mean we don't still go forward with Santa Fe and Dartmouth. Like, we can still do that as a project, next year, but
If we had partnerships, we'd be able to possibly do more.
exactly, yeah. But there's so much interest that it's like, I'd rather spread the. Okay. Okay,
We can have our mural festival.
yeah. Well, I mean, the chamber is interested in doing something like that too. So to your point, like partnering with them, might be kind of a good idea to bring out DDA, chamber and us. So, okay. All right, that's kind of all I have. I have a lot of ideas, but I think that's good. How about you?
Same.
Okay.
Are there other groups like throughout the city, like South Broadway, for instance, south of downtown? Like, is there a development group for that or just the downtown one?
Not that I know of. Yeah.
For instance?
Okay. All right. Old business, I don't really have a whole lot in the media and art, but Deb, we received any submissions?
Actually, the revised agenda, we do have
Oh, the library.
the art exhibits for the library.
Oh,
Bethany was going to talk on.
Oh, I see. Okay, now I-
oh, sorry, now I don't say, thank you. Okay. All right, art exhibits at Englewood Public Library.
Hey, everybody. So I guess it was last year, there was some kind of veterans event is what I've been told that that's how the artists that were scheduled for exhibiting in the library during 2022. At least that's the recollection of at least one staff person. So nobody really knew how did we book these people for 2021? So I thought that this group would be a great place to come to find out if you all could help the library or either, somehow facilitate a call for artists to exhibit. And in the agenda, it kind of details the exhibit time frame. And really the first date is sort of like setup time, like the first setup day. And what my plan would be was that there would be a reception a couple days after. I think these will all start on a Thursday, so it would either be the next day, or depending on how long it takes the artist to set up their exhibit, it could potentially be like the next Friday evening. We would have like a reception to kind of kick off the opening of the exhibit. We didn't have the opportunity to do receptions during 2022 because there was so much transition with myself coming on and then the new adult services librarian, that we just kind of, the best we could do was just continue to honor the schedule of the exhibits themselves, and we weren't able to host receptions, and the artists were actually kind of like fine with that. They were okay either way, is what they told us. But I would really like to do an exhibit to I'm sorry, I keep saying the wrong word, a reception to kick off each exhibit.
Real quick, we didn't have anything, we didn't have a part in the veterans. But so I don't know who set that up either.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is all kind of like, nobody that works in the library right now really was involved with it. So that's why like nobody really knows how that all got set up. So I wanted to take a different tack on this effort and kind of change how we participate with showcasing local authors and integrating this with the Cultural Arts Commission. So I'm definitely taking it, I think, in a different direction than it may have been done in the past, but we don't have any current library staff that participated in past exhibit planning and scheduling. So we don't really have a lot of historical stuff to go on other than what got scheduled and the contact information for the artists that we did have for 2022.
I seem to like before the pandemic, John was booking those, I thought.
John was, yeah, and our previous adult services librarian, who's no longer with the city, was doing those in the past year or so when COVID.
I remember he brought them but we didn't book them, but I think that's probably something we can do with our list.
Do you have do you have like themes that you want to like address, or specific groups that you'd like to target?
Not necessarily, but I certainly could design something like that to inspire, different types of artists, whether they wanted to do like a special collection for a library exhibit. At the last library I worked at in Nevada, we did that one year where we had multiple artists exhibit during the summer, and they were inspired by our summer reading theme. So they created original works of art specific for that exhibit. And I guess I'm really open to kind of doing it in different ways too, because so like having multiple artists in a single exhibit that's thematic would be great too.
Yeah.
And I think more than anything, I'm really looking for some feedback from all of you, because I'm also new to Colorado, so I don't have any contacts myself to try to recruit any artists for this type of purpose.
Yeah, I mean, we could certainly help with the recruiting, and I think having a theme would be helpful for the community, and for like any communication that goes out, it sort of frames it.
Sure, that would be great. Yeah, because like the summer time frame, which I think, yeah, there's one that's June to August. That's basically the length of our summer reading program. And this, for 2023, we do plan to do a children's and an adult summer reading program. So that could be a really great tie-in to utilize the theme for our summer reading program to inspire artists to create work specific for that exhibit time frame. And that would be something where we could have multiple artists submit a couple pieces, and then the other ones, I don't know, we could do them all like that, where each one is multiple people, or where it's exclusively a single artist. We primarily have space for framed artwork to hang.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of space for any three-dimensional pieces that might be created or showcased. So we do have a small area to do that, but primarily it's, framed hanging artwork.
And how many pieces?
I guess it depends on the size.
Well, or I guess I
So
could say where sort of space is it gonna be in? How big is the space?
The whole library.
The whole
Yeah.
library?
Yeah, it does kind of, yeah,
Oh.
it spans multiple walls on the library. So if you
Okay.
haven't been down there in a while, there's one full wall across from the fiction section. And then like, I think the other wall might have a little bit of, there's like an opening into the historical nook. And then there might be like at least one spot there. And that's kind of where we have like a sign holder to showcase who the artist is. And then there's a small section above the DVDs where things can be hung. And then we hang a few pieces in our like kind of big reading room in the back where there's a bunch of tables. We're also getting new lighting put into the library, which will be really great for highlighting the hanging artwork. And then the other part in the nook is where like the history nook, where there's like a window that looks out into the north lobby. And the north lobby is the one that faces out to the circle. That one, that's where like three-dimensional pieces could be showcased.
Okay. And presumably these were all for sale.
Yeah, because we've sold stuff out of the library.
And so all the sale, those transactions are handled by the library?
They're not handled by the library, but we have facilitated the person interested in making the purchase, getting in contact with the artist to set up a purchase directly.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like in the past with those receptions, they used to do the receptions before the pandemic, and I think they were like sponsored. I think the restaurants maybe provided food and.
Yes,
just
they
reach out
did.
to people.
Yeah, and that's something that I would look into trying to see whether we could do that again, whether it's something we can get, donations / sponsorships, for refreshments, or if it's something that we have to purchase, the library purchases, and maybe it would probably be a little, less elaborate if the library were to have to purchase refreshments, but I would definitely pursue something like that to see if we could do that. And these would be after hours when the library is closed. So that's why I would like to shoot for Friday nights. So like it's the library closes on Fridays at 5. So I would like plan for receptions either to begin right at 5 or maybe 5:30 or 6, kind of I guess it would just depend. But so that way the library would just be open for like we would have it for people who RSVP to the event, and then they would come in and have the refreshments, and then be able to walk around, talk to the artist, look at the artwork. That way too, we can have a little bit better control over how much we need to provide based on how many people we expect in terms of refreshments.
Okay. Maybe, think about like the themes, for these blocks of time. Like I'm guessing the veterans probably did something around the October to December timeframe, where around the Veterans Day, I would assume. Thematically, I think that there's holidays in many of these, if or times of year, back to school or whatever it might be, that whatever you choose, I think we should maybe get the themes and then start working on like what that call looks like and just time it out.
And I would keep the themes extremely generic.
Totally.
Like
Yeah, they would be pretty
so-
broad. Yeah.
Yes.
Fun.
Yeah, fine.
And if you guys had any suggestions for themes, I would certainly be welcome to, to receiving any suggestions. And the other thing I want to mention is that because we do have a artist that just started at the beginning of this month who will go through kind of towards the end of February. And then we have the Englewood Public Schools. They display the artwork that is featured in the annual calendar during the month of March. So that's why the first session wouldn't, or like the first exhibit wouldn't start till April. So I feel like we do from this point forward have a decent amount of time to kind of get this set up, unless I don't know, because I honestly haven't ever planned something out like this before.
For us to get a call out and for us to like, if I think if you could get the themes, at least for the first of the first chunk of dates, April to May, then we could come back next month in January and maybe somebody could volunteer to sort of compile like all of the points that we'd want to put into like a communication piece. And then, I mean, realistically, that's probably not going to get out till February, and that gives us only 2 months. So if we can get it out, the sooner we can get it out, the more likely we'll have responses. So
This is Julie. I have an idea just kind of along this theme. I am in contact with a group that does, it's people who are recovering from trauma and mental health sorts of things that do, I mean, as using art as, you know, as a recovery tool, so that their artwork's about resilience. And, you know, it seems like there's themes that, you know, might resonate also, you know, with some of the social issues going on in Englewood. But I know that they have a large group of artists that participate in these programs, and the sole purpose that they're doing is making artwork. So I certainly could, like, you know, if you were interested in something like that, like a group show where different artists are putting things to a theme, I think that might be a group that would definitely be interested in showing their work.
that's neat.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so I mean, I think it's totally reasonable for me to come up with a set of broad themes by the January meeting, if not before that, to, you know, share via email for any feedback.
Yep. I don't think that this requires any motion or anything.
No.
Yeah, but I did have one other question that's just sort of like a favor. If anybody has any resources, and Tony, I feel like you might already have something like this. I'm really looking for examples of like waivers or release of liability for showcasing artwork. Because that's not something that the Englewood Library has done in the past. And one of the artists I had this summer that was had her art exhibited, she had very heavy framed pieces that ended up breaking our hanging mounts, and then her pieces fell on the floor and were damaged. And I got super concerned about the fact that her pieces were damaged, and wanted to make sure that I have something like that in place. Not that I'm asking for like a finished product, because I know I probably with the city, I'll have to kind of finalize anything with the city attorney, but I really want to have some type of liability thing. If anybody has experience with that or any examples they can share to help me get started, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, Beth, I absolutely have a couple of things. I have waivers that are usually like waivers to come hang out with us, but I also have contracts that I do for all of our talent, which might be better suited, which basically if they come, so say they come play our concert and they blow their speakers or whatever, like that's not on us type of thing. So I can get those examples to you for sure. And then Victoria in legal in the city attorney's office has signed off on all of those. So in each works or whatever, she would be a great resource to just change the wording. And sometimes she's like, we just change the wording on how we fill in the blanks, not the legal wording.
Yeah.
So it might be really easy.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's why I was like, I just want to throw it out there because I knew somebody. And to this, when I was preparing for tonight, I was thinking that Tony, you might have something. So thank you.
Sure. I had one other question maybe for Christina, but we're getting ready to, we're going to launch the 2023 dates, sponsor and vendor information like early, like first week of January. So what do you think about the idea if we just put in a sponsor opportunity to sponsor the reception for the art exhibits? We don't have to say what they are or anything
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
great.
but just
Yeah.
put in there a sponsorship. I can like frame to art, I can see being like on it, you know, so I'll just take these dates, Beth, if it's okay with you.
Yeah,
and
that
just
would be fantastic. Thank you.
kind of put in there like exhibit from April to, I'll say June, because like June 1st or whatever, or May 31st. And I'll just take these dates and put, if you're interested in sponsoring, to put in to reach out and then we can go from there.
Yeah, like it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to put together some themes. If I have something complete before the next meeting, do you want me to email it out or do you want me to hold it till the next meeting?
Just email it out and I can
Okay.
even disseminate it to everybody. Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah,
to
because
think
if we
about.
have that before the sponsorship packet comes out, then
Yeah.
we can like put in the themes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What's your deadline for, or your your deadline for the sponsorship packet, Tony?
Probably,
Next week.
probably, I'm gonna say January 1st.
Okay,
So basically, what is that, December 28th or whatever, like,
Yeah.
because we're off.
Before the end of the year.
oh, right. Okay, that's perfect. That's totally fine.
Tomorrow. Just kidding.
Maybe next Friday.
Brainstorm tonight, call me in the morning.
Mhm.
Thank you all for your feedback. I appreciate it.
One of the things, speaking of the calendar for next year, I know we're often asked to participate in a lot of the events, but an idea popped up recently that I thought was a good one. And it was some feedback from artists that said that it's expensive to participate in some of the events, like even the block party and other events. And so we might think about our participation in the future as sponsoring an artist and paying their like entrance fees or whatever it is, that all of the licensing and entrance fees to the Englewood events, because I think that might be, you know, there's a lot of people who want to participate and it's a good way to help promote them. So anyway, just a plug there while you're thinking about that stuff. Okay, thanks, Beth. All right, moving on to the old business, the art call.
So we have received some applications.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how many?
Um,
Like more than 50?
We'll add 50 right now.
50,
Okay.
yeah.
And it's
Are you
been
serious?
what,
Okay.
3 weeks,
Just like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, so.
So there's five artists and 50 applications.
Okay.
So it is where like one artist will submit.
And are you saying that people are submitting like multiple ideas for the one, or are they submitting an idea for like multiple locations
Multiple ideas for the
for the one?
location.
Okay.
And it is $2 per submission, so you're at $100 right now.
Yeah.
So Debbie's gonna reach out and find out if we can maybe shorten the call. Because if we leave it open, what did we say, end of February?
Oh,
We said
We've
end of
gotten
February.
50 already. We
Did we
could,
say it was gonna be open that long? I thought was when
I
we were
think we
gonna
have-
decide.
I think we bumped it back a month because it took,
Because of the holidays.
because of the holidays.
we said end of
extra month. Yeah.
Each artist.
I hope we said it.
The submissions.
I don't know if you can, you know, like I explained to Christina too, some of the submittals are outside of the budget.
Yeah.
So
like way outside.
Okay. Well,
which
Oh.
does not make sense that we would be have to pay for those because somebody, do you know what I
Wasn't
mean?
paying
It's not a real, yeah,
that's
submission.
It's not gonna be.
Well, it's one was $100,000 for a medium piece of art.
Yeah.
And granted, they could get that expensive, but that's not what we're asking
not
for.
right.
And so we're gonna find out if they're way out of line with their submission, like, do we have to pay for that still? I mean, it's $2, but,
Yeah.
but it could add up very quickly.
Well, no kidding. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then we have to review too, so, maybe we let it go through December and at our next CAC meeting, we'll find out what we can do with this call, if we can reduce
Yeah.
it. And depending on how many we've received at that point, maybe we call it at that time or extend it or keep going or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, if we do not have to pay for ones that don't meet the criteria,
that's a big.
then, you know.
You did reject, but.
Well, I mean, I can, in fact, we had one artist that was submitting for another call that had submitted through ours and had reached out and said, I am interested, but can you withdraw these?
Oh.
We had 64 And
Yeah.
it was 14 submissions that the artist put in, so.
Out of the 50 that we have, how many would otherwise be eligible, do you see?
You know, I haven't gone through one by one.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But, I mean,
Does it anecdotally feel like people are coming in like with high?
yeah, well, you know, I have probably only looked at like half of them.
Okay.
So, yeah, most of them were within that budget, but there are some that are way beyond.
Okay.
That
It better be
really makes
awesome.
no sense.
Like it's 7x4, right? Like.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay, okay. Well,
But I'll get more information.
it's good to have interest.
No, it's great. I was
Yeah.
excited to hear we
Yeah.
had some, so
Yeah.
this is good news, but also kind of bad too. Yeah.
No, I said, you do understand that
Yeah,
You're
okay,
I pay for these.
okay. Thank you.
As long as they're coming in, that some of them are coming in.
Yeah.
And the nice piece is, I mean, we're collecting now, so down the road, we're like, oh, we need some art. We could go through what we've already got and pick something out of that. So in some respects, it's nice to get a lot for that reason. So we have something to choose from if the art at that time is still available.
Yeah, true.
And we have all the artist names.
That too, yeah.
Great, thank you. Studio art tour, I don't think we have much of the studio art tour, you guys. I know Kyle's not here, but I know we kind of postponed it for a month, but yeah. Events update, Tony.
So on Saturday, we had the tree lighting and market. It was very successful, and thank you for your guys' contribution. The caricatures were awesome. People were lined up till the end where I was like, we're all leaving. So you guys do you, but we're taking our lights. But no, it was great. And then we had the high school and middle school choir and the band, and with their leftover funding, we bought stuff that they could wear, like hats and glasses and all kinds of stuff. And it was funny because I'm like, hey, I got these for you guys to wear tonight if you want any. And the first two are like, no, thanks. And then two of them go, I'll take one. And then everyone took one. So I'm like, yay.
Cool, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, it
Peer
wasn't
pressure is
cool.
really strong at that age.
It wasn't cool until he thought it was cool. Now everyone thinks it's cool. So, but no, that was great. And then I got him Christmas light necklaces and stuff that they could wear so that they could be pretty festive. And yeah, it was very well received, and tons of people. Gosh, in the last 5 years, minus 2020 and even 2021, is probably the most packed I've seen it that I can remember. So it was great. And Santa was in the guild, and we had some extra vendors in the guild, and people liked that idea. Probably going to tweak that a little bit in the year to come. But yeah, the only feedback I got was, I wish it would have been longer. And I'm like, right, but it's dark. And I don't know what else we're gonna do, but I think having the alcoholic beverages there like made it a little more of an outing. But tons of people did come early and then hop the light rail to go downtown to that light the lights. So that seems to still be working out really well, as long as Denver keeps doing it on that first Saturday of December. But yeah, no, super excited. Have lots of cool things coming up in 2023. Hoping to have that list out in early January. So I wouldn't say anything's going. I think things are just changing a little bit. Again, working with EDDA on tweaking some of the market stuff, and then really just enhancing the things that we already have. So I'm super excited, and then really excited to see the art coming in for the volunteer t-shirts that we can all look at in January, right?
I have not seen that posting.
It's out there.
It did go out. I did see it on Facebook.
Oh my gosh, okay. I was looking for it and I couldn't
I
find
think
it.
I saw it on next door, so.
I
Okay,
did
good.
see it on Facebook.
Okay, good.
It's there. You have witnesses.
It's part of a communication plan. I did see it in
Great.
that, so.
Yeah, I've had a lot of balls in the air, so there, one was bound.
No, It's still just floating
Yeah.
as a drop jet.
It hasn't come
But yeah, so, and then when those submissions come in, I don't know where they go. I'm not 100% sure where they go.
I will reach out to communications and.
Because I'm guessing, well, before I knew where they went, but now we're doing everything on Asana. So I'm guessing it's through that. And so I meet with Amanda too, so I can.
Okay. What's the close date for the volunteer t-shirt submittal?
Was it the end of January or the end of
Since,
December?
deadline's January 1st. It was posted on November 29th.
And that was with the hope that we could decide, you guys could decide
On the 4th.
at the meeting on January so that they are printed and ready to start going to volunteers at the first event.
Okay, so then I would say if January 1st is the cutoff, then I'm guessing that city offices are closed on the 2nd.
Yeah, we reopened the 3rd.
So we would have to get it together by the 3rd to get it, the 3rd, 4th to get it.
And that's, I mean, last year we worked on that.
Okay, so if we do it on the 3rd and we can get it out the day before, that gives us a little bit more time to review in advance, because I want to say last year we had quite a few submissions.
I think we can do it.
Okay,
We don't really sleep, so.
perfect.
It's actually under boards and commissions. Culture Arts Commission is where the sign up or where you can submit it for, so.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking too, like, hopefully if we can start looking at what submittals are coming in, then then we can just kind of build so that it's not trying to do everything at once. Like, we
Yeah.
can kind of keep track of them as they come in.
Okay, cool. Great.
And you're doing the markets next year.
Yeah, so we're changing them up a little bit. So there's gonna be a summer series, a summer market series, which is gonna be June, July, and August. That's not the only markets we're doing, but that's the 3 that are in a series. And then there will be a market at the spring event. There'll be a market at the fall event, and there'll be a market at the holiday event. We're just reframing how those are going to look a little bit. And then the ones that for that summer series are going to be on the 1st of each month at the same time at the City Center Circle location. So we're hoping with the same type of date, the same time, and the same location that we can really generate. And really, this is an awesome place to have the type of market thing just for the setup. And I think you could kind of see that if you were there on Saturday. It worked out really well. And EDDA really wants to partner with that. In addition to those markets, where some places are looking at kind of partnering with the city to do markets. So Georgia Grow and Gather kind of wants to do a market in the winter months to supplement their lack of business a little bit. But his might be like a Friday night market with a pop-up musician or music or whatever, but I'll just be partnering with them. I won't be leading them, so to speak, just kind of help them get all of the logistics. The Front Range Pharmacy is interested in doing a more health kind of focused, mental and physical, health type market. And then the guys at Devil's Head are also looking. So those aren't solidified yet, but yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Were you probably thinking like, we usually get a list of, we kind of like at the beginning of the year, think about all our events and then
Yeah.
what we've got coming up
Just
for the year.
what you need. If you
Yeah.
want music.
Yeah,
That was always a hit. It was always great. So I don't think that you can go wrong with that
Yeah,
at
that's-
any of them.
which I was gonna start thinking about too. And
Okay.
when.
So I can say for sure the 3 summer months, I think would be great. And then the other ones are kind of partnered with other events. So like we have DJs or whatever kind of thing going on. So definitely something more to talk about, but I would love to partner with you guys again. And the music was always a hit.
Well, great.
well. Thanks. Any other event stuff? All right. Staff's choice, staff?
I just want to say thank you to you all for a great year, and a lot of work was done and we have more work next year coming. So we'll take a nice holiday break in January. But no, thank you very much for your volunteering, your time, and being part of this commission and beyond. Thank you.
At the schools? Not that I can think of.
Yeah, but if there's like mural opportunities for students, I mean, we're always up for one.
Do your students like to spray paint things?
They love spray paint.
I mean, I think that's when you were talking about like the skate
Skate
park,
park.
that's what I think of like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get the students involved.
Yeah, so maybe after the new year,
Yeah,
that'd be a good time.
and then, I can't remember who it was from the, rec center, she contacted me about a mural.
Oh, Allison. probably.
Yeah, and but I've always done it with a professional artist, so I'm not like confident in doing it with like just me and students. Cause I'm not a professional mural artist, so, yeah, that would also be a possibility as long as there's obviously funding and then someone who knows what they're doing.
The only thing I have on the commissioner's choice is that it sounds like we're gonna be shutting down the CIC email and that's a Gmail account in favor of probably a more formal and yeah, city email, which is fine. Just let me know when you do it because then I'll just put like out of office in perpetuity and redirect it to whatever the city email is. The email that we have, the Gmail that we have is spam a lot. So
Oh, yeah.
it's probably gonna be better to go to the city email. They can filter that stuff out because we get a lot.
The city's good about filtering stuff.
Yeah.
And that one email, did you tell her it was a bounce back?
Oh,
So-
yeah, I just sent an email to, the gentleman
Mhm.
and it was undeliverable.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I was like, I figured because there were grammatical errors in it that I was like,
Significant ones, yeah.
but you never know. Okay.
Oh.
Anything else from the commission? Go ahead.
I'm just curious, just to ask, with the Swedish horse that went missing, has anything ever come up?
Oh, the first one that disappeared?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it is still missing. It's probably in somebody's backyard. We'll have to start flying the drone across the
Yeah.
city. And I have the Swedish horse that was out front,
You should have two, right?
now.
Three.
So I actually have it in my office. It's
Okay.
a real pretty red one. that's
Yeah.
out front.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say your backyard.
No, I put it in my backyard. It's looking at my office window at the amphitheater area. It's very happy. But it was starting to literally walk away.
People are
I know,
probably just,
They were writing it.
yes, that's what happened to the other ones.
I know somebody who could probably help us like with the bases, but he wanted to apply for the media and art thing.
So we haven't, oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we can talk about that.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was just waiting to put his application.
Yeah, we need a better way to secure those. It's
They
too
can't
easy.
be like, honestly, even in public, like that.
They need to be inside somebody's
Yeah,
storefront or.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So. The one at the Malley Center seems to be holding up great.
That's perfect. It's not really noticeable.
Yeah, I know.
But, and then the other one by the preschool.
Yeah.
Daycare
Yeah.
is doing okay there too.
Yeah.
So some are working.
And one by Meridian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's good too. Anything else from any of the other commission members? Julie? No? All right, well then let's go ahead and adjourn.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good holiday, everyone.
Um,
What?